The Quarry, and I'm apologizing in advance for pronouncing this name in the wrong way, but this game is very dark. And I'm not talking about the story, I'm talking about that this game is really dark. I have tested the PlayStation 5 version of this game, but in terms of HDR there shouldn't be any difference compared to the Xbox Series version. First things first, as always we need to talk about the system level HDR calibration menu. Wow, what a name. System level HDR, this thing here in the background, okay? Where you can set up HDR on your console, and on the PlayStation 5 I can verify that this menu here, what you can see in the background, is not supported in the game, and I'm quite sure the same counts for the Xbox version as well, but please put in the comment section if I'm right or maybe I'm wrong. With the factory display settings as shown on the screen right now, I had a very hard time to enjoy this game because it is very dark. Sometimes you lose a lot of fine details. I even set my LGCX to dynamic tone mapping on because otherwise I would miss out even more details, because as you can see right now, when I'm changing this to HGIG, the picture almost goes completely black. This is not how I would love or like to play actually any game. I mean, I get it. This game is literally very dark and it is supposed to play in a complete dark room, but it is a little bit too much in my opinion. And I did a lot of testing, of course, in terms of analyzing HDR screenshots from this game, and I found that this maximum display brightness slider is not doing anything for me. I'm not quite sure if this is a bug or maybe I'm missing something completely, but I compared, of course, some screenshots with the maximum display brightness set to 100 or then on the other hand set to 0, and I couldn't find any difference, not in the maximum peak brightness, not in anything else. So if I'm missing here something, and maybe it's a very easy solution, or just tell me in the comment section please what this slider is for, because right now I think it's not doing anything, at least not on the PlayStation 5 version. The HDR brightness slider is the most important and only slider what we have in the game to increase or decrease the brightness in this game. And as I said before, this game is very dark, and my recommendation is actually crank it up as you like it, because in terms of the maximum peak brightness, there's literally almost no difference between, let's say, 50 and 100%. So I found personally I like to have the slider set to 100, because even on my QN95B, which has a higher average picture brightness than the LGCX, the picture is too dark from time to time. So the maximum peak brightness, what I measured, was around 15 to 1600 nits. And again, there's no way that I can actually change this with those settings, because the maximum display brightness setting is not doing anything, as I found, and the HDR brightness slider is, even you set this to 50 or to 40 or to 60, the maximum peak brightness is always the same. And last but not least, we have the UI level slider, which is just increasing the brightness from the text or the menu and all the symbols on the screen. So feel free to adjust this as you like it. Let's talk about my recommended settings for this game if you should play this game with HDR, dynamic tone mapping off or dynamic tone mapping on. And of course, let's talk very quickly about Dolby Vision. Even I can't test it because this is the PlayStation 5 version. I do not think that there is a big difference between HGig and Dolby Vision. And we need to keep in mind, Dolby Vision is very similar to HGig. If you can see a difference between HGig and Dolby Vision, this is most likely because of different picture settings, different calibrations. This is not because Dolby Vision is doing a different job, because all what Dolby Vision is doing in this game is actually using the HDR10 metadata and displaying Dolby Vision. That's all what is happening. So this game does not support Dolby Vision at all. In terms of HGig versus dynamic tone mapping on, for me there's a clear winner on the LG CX. I have to play this game with dynamic tone mapping on. I have to say it. I must play it actually with dynamic tone mapping on, because this game is so dark sometimes. Even in a pitch black room, I'm missing some details at some point. Anyway, let's talk about my recommended settings. And this is also very easy, because all what I have done is I increased my HDR brightness slider to 100, and this is actually quite nice. I do not know at this point what the maximum display brightness slider is doing, because in my version of the game, in the PlayStation 5 version with the latest patch, and by the way, I updated this game with my mobile phone because internet is still not working since 2 days here at this place. It's not just the place, it's the whole street. Welcome to Australia, by the way. And it took me ages to update. So this is the latest update, and this slider is not doing anything for me. So again, put in the comment section what I'm missing here, because I have really no idea. Again, for me, I have to play this game in dynamic tone mapping on, because HDR unfortunately is just way too dark. And even in a daylight scene like this, I have a very hard time to recommend HGig over dynamic tone mapping on, because HGig, it's just way too dark in my opinion. Please keep in mind that with HGig, you can actually enjoy this game in the most accurate way when it comes to HDR, but also, and this not just counts for this game, in many games, HGig is just a little bit too dark, and unfortunately the same counts for the Quarry as well. So I would recommend to play this game with dynamic tone mapping on, use the brightness slider at least to a very high level. My recommendation is still 100 for the LG CX, and enjoy this great game. And that's it already for this video. I say thank you very much for watching me, and if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. I would much appreciate it. And please put in the comment section what you'd like to see next. What game should I test? If you have any recommendations, I would love to read them actually. Thank you very much again. I see you guys next time. Bye.